John's just retired from astronautics. He was one of the last men to make a moonwalk. John, are you all right, son? You're white as a sheet and you're trembling.
Nothing I can do. It's happening again. I'm changing.
And in several seconds, we see before us a man-wolf. It runs through the darkness as it hunts its quarry. And that quarry is man. The mark of the man-wolf. A man-wolf.
Hello, and welcome to the Werewolf by Night podcast. This season, we're talking about Marvel's number 2 lycanthrope, John Jameson, a.k.a. the Man-Wolf, a.k.a. Old Lobo, a.k.a. Furry Freak, a.k.a. Night Beast. I'm your co-host, Matt Howell.
I'm Jacob Balcom.
And we're joined today by one of our listeners and an awesome person all around that we love on Instagram, Michelle from Moonlit Comics. Hi, Michelle.
Hello. How are you guys tonight?
I am splendid. How are you?
Excellent. I'm excited to be here, honored to be here. I can't wait to dive into this episode.
Me too. I had a blast reading this issue, so glad to meet you finally. We've been totally digging your Instagram posts and stuff like that. So it's awesome to meet you face to face via the internet. And yeah, can't wait to talk with you about this issue. Jacob, how are you?
Likewise.
Me, I'm good. I got a Ramita alteration right here. I'm excited to talk about this issue. But you had some stuff you wanted to talk about at the top of the episode?
I did. There were some errata that I needed to get out of the way. One was just kind of hanging around in my notes for a while. This is from way, way back. When we first started Creatures on the Loose, we were alluding to the fact that prior to this, the character that they were trying to spin off into a series or whatever was Thongor, the something from Lemuria, remember? He was like a Conan Cole kind of guy.
Yes.
And we were wrong. He was not a Marvel invention. It was not a way around Robert E. Howard's estate and trying to get a free Conan type of IP. He was actually a character that was established through 60s stories and paperback books written by Lynn Carter. And, you know, if you know Lovecraft and that kind of weird fiction crew, Lynn Carter is a guy that was kind of a cheerleader, and he was a collaborator in the sense of like, you know, they would find like a receipt in Lovecraft's desk that said tentacle-y thing and ice, and then he would like make a book out of it and go, yeah, Lynn Carter and H.P. Lovecraft. He was like that kind of guy. So,
okay. All right.
But he also legitimately was given the keys to the Conan Kingdom and wrote some post Robert E. Howard Conan stories. So
okay,
he was persona grata, I guess you would say, in the Conan world, but he made his own guy called Thongor.
Okay. Did someone message us about that?
No, I was just searching
okay.
him. I wanted to see if there was a trade of Thongor, or I don't remember what it was, but I was like, oh, he's Lynn Carter.
Yeah.
That guy.
I didn't mean to sound so defensive. I'm just like, who called us out on this?
Me.
Who dares? Yeah.
And then lastly, this is a recent one. I think last episode or so. Yeah, when Anello got mauled by the Man-Wolf.
Yes.
The cops pulled up and someone said something like, "We're not the super cops," or I don't know what the reference was, but we were kind of like, "Oh, is that like Dirty Harry or is that Bullet or whatever?" And then Jason Vivoni messaged us and said, no, that's actually a reference to a film called The Super Cops that came out that year. And it was based on these two real life NYPD cops who were called the NYPD Batman and Robin, who supposedly were kind of these loose cannon guys that solved all these things and kind of, you know, worked outside the lines and blah, blah. So yeah, that movie, The Super Cops, was a big deal that year that this issue was published.
Okay.
Come to find out later on, big shock here, they pocketed a bunch of drug money. They did a bunch of shady, illegal shit like that, you know, is not even like he's a good cop, you know. Yeah. They were just kind of shady, but they did do some busts. So
all right.
Thanks, Jason Vivoni, for that info there. I have to check that out. I've never seen it.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Right on.
I had to check my Creatures on the Loose issue that I had, but it's issue 18 and it does not include the monster beast you were talking about, but it's a similarly interesting looking thing here, The Fury of Fira. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Creatures on the Loose. What a weird book.
So
super out there.
Jacob, we're at that point in time, like where she's talking about those teen issues, were those all Atlas era reprints of like Jack Kirby and Ditko monster-y things?
Well, all the backups were for sure, but there were these weird, like, I mean, I think they're original stories for a lot of that, just weird, maybe 10-page stories that would be the lead in and the cover. But then, I mean, it's for the issues that I have and that I've read, it almost seems like it's exclusively Kirby and Ditko stories from the Atlas books.
Yeah, except for this issue.
Yes.
Yeah. So Michelle Thongor, despite sounding like Godzilla on Fire Island, is actually like a Conan ripoff. He's actually a warrior from the Lost Kingdom of Lemuria, which is basically Atlantis for other weird paranoid nerds who believe in lost worlds. Yeah. So
got it.
Yeah, he sounds like a Kirby monster, but he's actually just a dude with a sword.
Okay.
Thongor.
Dig it.
Yeah. Chippendales. Patrick Swayze. Dig it. Yeah. So I'm most interested, Michelle, in talking to you. I mean, I don't know how we crossed paths online or whatever, but we immediately, like, once you got on our radar, we followed you and we're loving your posts and just seeing your genuine joy in the medium and just discovering all these different titles and collecting all this stuff and just amassing these things and just seeing that kind of just that fresh energy for the medium it's exciting for us. I mean, we on this show have a snicker here and there with the Bronze Age stuff, but we do it from a place of love, which I think is pretty clear. But just having someone like you who's like kind of new to the medium in the last several years, just digging all the stuff that we love was so exciting. So we would love to hear your origin story.
Sure. Well, first, let me tell you how I discovered you guys and why we crossed paths in the first place. It was because early into my collecting journey, I discovered Werewolf by Night, and I started collecting the run. And as I would acquire these issues, I would look them up, look up the information online, see if I could find any random blog posts or articles of people reviewing the stories, etc. And I think it was a random Google search that led me to your podcast, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. And I learned a lot just from listening to you guys chat about the issues. And I thought it was really interesting how you would deep dive and, kind of find humor in these Bronze Age stories. And from there, I was hooked. And every time I would find a new Werewolf by Night issue for my collection, I'd immediately go to your podcast page to see if you had an episode about it. And of course you did. And I would kind of read along with you. And now, so I'm not finished collecting that run yet. But even as, you guys have moved on to a new season, I feel like you're still with me when I'm reading those issues. Like I can hear your voices, like, and I can imagine what you would say when these like silly moments pop up or beautiful panels, all of those things. So you guys have really been a big part of my Werewolf by Night collecting journey. So thank you for everything that you do. And I was so excited, I'm sure, along with all of your listeners, to see that you were back with season 2. So yay for that.
Oh, thank you.
We were going to miss you.
Well, we were missing it immediately, for sure. So thank you very much. That was sweet to hear. I love that. So I guess the expanded version of that is like, tell us about, you made a post recently about how you got into comics, and we were both very touched by it. So I'd love to hear the full story of that.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay. So I am very new to the medium, brand new. I mean, I started collecting comics a little over a year ago, actually in January of 2021. I didn't read comics as a child. I actually had never read a comic before in my life, I don't believe, until my mom gave me some boxes of my father's old things. My father passed away in the year 2000. And, up until last year until my mom gave me all this stuff. I thought I had all of his knickknacks and belongings and mementos, but she was moving. Her and my stepdad both retired, and they planned to move to the beach, and they were going through their storage room in the basement. And she came across, I think, 4 or 5 boxes, all filled with my dad's things that she forgot about that I didn't know existed. So, of course, she gave them all to me. It was my task to go through everything and divvy it up between my brother and I. And as I was doing that, I discovered all sorts of collectibles. I mean, he had a stamp collection. He had, Star Trek memorabilia and trading cards and just all sorts of neat things. But my favorite find was a single manila envelope full of 14 Star Wars issues from the Volume 1 run. And these were not, they were bagged, but not boarded. And they were all stuffed into this envelope at the bottom of one of these boxes, completely just improperly stored. And I'm surprised that they were even readable, But for some reason, finding those comics, it kind of made me pause, and it made me, I was drawn to them. I thought, oh, wow, like these are awesome. I mean, I remembered Star Wars from my childhood, and I just thought it was super rad to have these original comics from the 70s that my dad had begun to collect. And he even had written notes on the envelope, kind of the missing issues. And I talked to my mom about it, and she said that when they would go antiquing, he would always try to find, a hidden box of comics in the back of the store and stuff like that. So, but he didn't have a big comic collection. It was just those 14 issues. And what made it even cooler is that the day I found those, and mind you, I was going through all this stuff over the course of like a week, but the day that I found those just so happened to be his birthday, which I didn't know. Because he passed when I was so young. His birthday was never really a day that my family commemorated or talked about. But I said to myself, I think his birthday was in January. Let me check. And sure enough, it was the day that I found those comics. And something just told me I was meant to finish the collection for him. And so that's what I did. I mean, immediately I set out to complete the goal. I looked up local comic shops in the area. I called around asking the stupidest questions. And, my journey began that day. And I surely thought that would be the end of it. I thought I would, maybe take some time tracking down these missing issues, and that would be it. I'd feel good about completing the collection and I'd keep it forever. And I never expected it to evolve into what it has, let alone so quickly. And now I'm completely obsessed with comic books, all aspects of the hobby. So yeah, it has been a whirlwind. It's been a journey, and I never thought it would lead me here being a guest on the Werewolf by Night podcast with 2 super awesome people in this community. So that is really cool. But yeah, Bronze Age comics are kind of my jam. When I started looking for the Star Wars books, I said, well, if I'm going to be hunting around in comic shops, I might as well have at least like one other character I might want to hunt for. So, and I didn't want to start getting into Spider-Man and Batman and like kind of the mainstream things. So somehow I came across Ghost Rider and Son of Satan. And those were kind of like, they piqued my interest. I thought they were super cool. I'm into the horror stuff. So, so I started with that, and it's branched out from there into Werewolf by Night and Dracula and all sorts of things now.
That's amazing. So, how long did it take you to complete that Star Wars run?
Almost a year exactly. I just finished it. The last 2 issues I needed for the collection were gifted to me for Christmas by my boyfriend as a surprise. Yeah.
That's so cool.
So what does he think of this transformation that you became this comics beast?
I mean, he is completely supportive of it, and he gets a kick out of it for sure. I mean, neither of us thought that I'd be, streaming on YouTube and, posting on Instagram and doing podcasts and just being so involved in this community. But here I am, and he's completely supportive of it. He actually helped me set up this kind of studio, if you will, that I have now up here. So I can, create content for YouTube and be a guest on friends' channels and things like that. And yeah, he loves it. It's funny because before all of this, I would always say, I wish I had a hobby, like a real hobby, not something that I just get into for a month or two and then move on to the next thing. And this stuck because it has meaning to me.
Well, I think that really comes through on your Instagram page. And what I think really spoke to us, aside from your love of Bronze Age, that seems to be your main collecting focus. I know you have other stuff as well, but Bronze Age horror seems to be your main focus. But what I really loved about it too is that you actually read these issues and talk about them and write about them. And as you know, a lot of people in a hobby like this sometimes will just collect things to collect them and just to, encase them in lucite forever and not use them for their intended purpose. And as you know, I'm sure if you listen to this show, we're not about that. We are about reading the comics and enjoying them the way they're supposed to be enjoyed. And I think that's what I love so much about your Instagram posts and is that you really do go in depth on the posts. Like you write a lot of stuff about the issue, about the artist, about your thoughts about the issue, and you post different you don't just post the cover, you post panels from the pages. Like I know it shouldn't seem like a big deal, but it's a big deal that you actually open the comics up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sometimes it's hard just to limit it to 9 photos of the interior, right? You get the 10. But I can't help it, like that's why I love comics. I love the artwork and the stories and the creators and all the fun facts that I can possibly find about, how these issues were created and all the different connections between titles and between creators. And just, I guess I've always loved history and vintage things and artwork and reading, although I will say I haven't read as much possibly ever than I have in the last year. So this has definitely sparked my love for reading back up. But yeah, this comics and this entire hobby just checked all the boxes for me. And I love sharing that with people because like exactly how I found you guys, because when I'm collecting new issues and I'm flipping through them and I'm reading them, I want to learn about them. I'm researching this stuff anyway. And I figured why not share that with people that may enjoy it as much as I do. And that's why I was super glad to find you guys, especially because I love Werewolf by Night. He's one of my top characters. So to find people that were as crazy about the stories and the artwork and all the details and all the fun facts as I was just thrilled. So thank you for the kind words and for appreciating my crazy Instagram post, but it's been a joy. So
it's better than thimbles or spoons.
Yeah.
Totally. You're going to collect something.
Or porcelain dolls,
Creepy Hummel figurines.
It's way less creepy.
Yeah. So you weren't like, prior to this, you didn't have any kind of big hobby. Like who are you? Outside of comics, what's your deal? Right before this, I would say my biggest hobby. Well, I mean, we've been in the middle of a pandemic, so. But normally, I love to visit local breweries. So my boyfriend and I are both super into craft beers, and we're big foodies, and so those, I guess, are hobbies in a sense, but. Maybe not, I needed something else, something that wasn't consumable. So how many runs have you completed? First of all, what do you need? What are your holes in your Werewolf by Night run? And then what runs have you completed besides Star Wars?
So the
If you
first run I ever completed was the Moon Knight Volume 1. So Moon Knight and Ghost Rider are my top two favorite characters for sure, closely followed by Jack Russell and Dracula, Swamp Thing. I'm a huge Swamp Thing fan, but I mean, Moon Knight Volume 1, I think, is only 38 issues, so that didn't take me too long, and I got lucky finding kind of a big lot of them at my local shop in the beginning. So about a year ago, so like right before things kind of blew up with
Disney.
Moon Knight. Yeah. But so Moon Knight and Star Wars Volume 1 are the only two complete runs I have. I'm very close to finishing my Tomb of Dracula run, but I will probably always be missing issue 10, which is okay.
Is that Blade or what's Blade?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Blade. Yeah. But Werewolf by Night, let me see. I can tell you how many I'm missing.
If you need any Glitter Night issues, we might be able to help.
Those Glitter Night issues are pretty easy to find, I think.
Might be a West Coast thing.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I'm missing 19. So yeah, I've collected a little over half.
Okay.
Yeah, and I do not have his first appearance in Marvel Spotlight. I have the other one or two. Is it 3 Marvel Spotlight issues?
Yeah, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I have 3 and 4, and I have the first issue of Werewolf by Night and kind of random ones throughout the series. So I have not been able to sit down and read the entire series as a whole, which I will be looking forward to once I complete the run. But yeah.
Yeah, I imagine the Plug issues are probably the hardest ones to pick up, I would think.
Yeah, well, I need to get back on my hunting game for Werewolf by Night.
Well, 32 is going to be a pretty penny these days.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes. That is just like Tomb of Dracula 10. I'm okay with never owning it. I probably have
fine.
Yeah, it's totally fine. I mean, you could always just have it in a binded, what do you call it? I don't know the term for it. The binded edition that you have.
Oh, the library binds?
Yeah, library binds. Like, Matt has it's complete.
Yep.
What is it called? Like a Haushin?
Oh, the company is.
Yeah, company is Hushin. Yeah, it's
Hushin. Okay.
Yeah, I would think you would call them a library bind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a whole thing.
I'm okay with it. I have, several different reprinted versions of it, so I'm able to read it and enjoy it. And I could think of a lot of other things I could spend, $2-3 on. So it is what it is.
Yeah. It's not crystal meth.
Yeah. No.
Right. Exactly.
That's what I keep telling my wife.
Yeah.
There you go.
Great. Well, thank you for sharing that. That was cool to get the full story there.
Oh, well, thanks for giving me the platform. It means a lot to me. So, thank you.
So I hope you've been enjoying season 2 so far with our John Jameson. I know he's no Jack Russell. He's not the deep character that Jack Russell is, but you know, he's a NASA man.
Yes, I have been enjoying this so far, and I wasn't too familiar with Man Wolf before I saw you two announce season 2. And so I was like, okay, I have to look into this guy, right? I mean, I have to find out what Man Wolf is all about. And I was intrigued by his backstory and how his curse comes from this moon rock or stolen moon rock. And, he's JJJ's son. And I'm not really big into Spider-Man. So I hadn't really heard of him before. I think I have one Marvel team up issue that features Man Wolf and Frankenstein randomly, which I have not read yet.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, that was the only Man Wolf comic I had in my collection until now. I'm hunting these creatures on the loose issues, but yeah, no, you guys have made me appreciate the character by listening and following along so far.
Well,
Awesome.
You've come in on such a great issue like this. Like the issues before this were fun, but this is where it really, really takes off. So we're excited you're here for issue 33 of Creatures on the Loose, which is very special.
I'm thrilled.
I agree. Okay, so I think we should dig in then.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a cover date here on Creatures on the Loose featuring Manwolf number 33, and this is January of 75. So we've ticked over into my birth year at this point. This cover is by Gil Kane with Romita alterations, the pencils, and inked by Klaus Janson with Romita alterations, apparently. There's a very lengthy note in the Grand Comics database about this.
Yep.
At one point, they thought Rich Buckler had done this, and he disconfirmed that in the 2000s. I think Klaus Janson did that.
Well, I think it was
Ray
Klaus
Severin
Janson
was involved.
Klaus Janson, they went to him. I think it was one of the main historians that does a lot of those GCD edits. And in an interview, Klaus Janson said that he was the one that kind of said it was a Gil Kane Manwolf figure with another artist, possibly Marie Severin, penciling the rest of the page. Now, Klaus Janson did the inks himself, so he would know better than most people. Right. And so, it's a weird kind of Frankenstein cover. We got a Gil Kane Manwolf with, Marie Severin penciling most of the other page, which is fine by me. I love Marie Severin.
And we have a rare color credit for a cover, George Rousseau.
Yeah, which is, I know. I saw that was really weird because they never give color credits on the covers. And how cool that it's George Rousseau, one of our, probably our top three. Yeah. You know, I'd say Linda Lessman, Petra Goldberg, George Rousseau.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't want to speak for you, Matt, but I feel like that's our top three colorists.
Nope, we're spooning each other right now.
Oh, as always.
You both have made me pay a lot more attention to inkers and colorists. And now, like, hearing you guys talk about your favorites and your least favorites, like Vince Colletta and things like that, it makes me want to start paying more attention so I can tell the difference in inkers. It's
one of those things you once you start noticing it, you can't go back. Then you're all in, and that's why I'm so excited that the team has changed this issue so we can anyhow, we won't skip ahead to this. Let's talk about the cover.
Yeah, it's a lot like I think noticing editing. Like when you're a little kid, you just get fed information, and then as you realize, someone actually manipulates this, and then that's a whole thing, and it kind of becomes like that's when you become a junkie for that art form, I guess. Yeah, kind of the same type of thing. So I love this cover passionately. This
so cool.
Has a bold, striking red night sky with a full moon, and the Gil Kane werewolf is down on his knees, kind of almost looking like he's in pain, throwing his head back and howling. And it says the name of the game is Death. And the Manwolf has Christine Saunders' blonde locks in his claws. She's passed out on the floor, and they're around some trees like jungle. And in the background is J. Jonah Jameson holding a rifle on the Manwolf. And he says, I can't pull the trigger. I can't. Yet if I don't, Christine will die. And the monster that will kill her is my son. I can't say enough good things about this. Obviously, Romita did J. Jonah Jameson's face. You can tell that a mile away. Touch it up.
Christine too, I think. Like, don't
and
you?
Christine, yeah. But the Manwolf, the articulation of his musculature and everything is so he's just so ropey and just ripped. He just looks amazing.
Yes, I agree. I love this cover so much. The colors, the red background is fantastic. And I love the detail in his face with the moon behind him. And to me, he does look a little posed, I guess, but but the more, I guess, the cover grew on me, the more I appreciated it. And I think it's fantastic. He's definitely about to rip out of his outfit there. So, yes. I mean,
his poor tunic has been through a lot.
It's been through a lot. It just gets tore up all the time, and then it's just magically fine the next issue.
Yeah, and I love the motion lines around JJJ showing that he's obviously shaking at the prospect of killing his son to save his future daughter-in-law.
Yes.
Good JJJ stuff.
I do like how Wolf in the title has a slightly different effect than man, and it's kind of the background behind Wolf is dark. Thing.
Mhm.
I really liked that little detail.
Yeah, it's a nice touch, definitely. And Christine looks very different, rendered here by Kane and Romita, as of compared to obviously Tuska and Coletta. But yeah, still nice stuff though.
Definitely. Well, you want to jump into the first page?
Yeah, I was just looking at this longingly again.
That was a long pause.
The more I look at it, Michelle, the more I like the cover. I think you're right. He does look like he's. I mean, at first I thought it was kind of stagey or posy at first, and now the more I'm looking at it, he does look more. He's like in a paroxysm, like of a, you know what I mean, like a spasmodic, just wild. Like he can't even control the fact that he's baying. Like that's not even up to him at this point. So it grows on me the more I look at it.
Yeah, I'm with you there, 100%.
Cool. Yeah, let's dive in, Jacob.
Okay, so yeah, this is a pretty awesome opening page. So the title of the story is Deathgame, and
it's Deathgame.
Deathgame. Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So as compared to the last couple of issues, we already know something drastically different is going on with the art. So let's dive into the credits. So the creators for this issue, we have pretty much almost all new people. So it's David Kraft, writer, George Perez as guest artist, Klaus Janson, inker, Tom Orzechowski, letterer, Petra Goldberg, colorist. Tony Isabella still has a credit as co-plotter, and then it is edited by Roy Thomas. So we have a lot of new names here. We had Isabella as our writer last issue. I think we had Orzechowski as the letterer last issue as well. I'm not sure if have we had Petra yet in this run?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think this is, we saw her a lot on Werewolf by Night and loved her work on that. But so I was really excited to see her name on this. But wow, so we have two titans that have taken over this book. So God, I have to do George Perez first, just because I'm too excited not to. So this is George Perez, as we talked a little bit about last episode, but he's pretty much known to everyone. He's one of the most famous artists in comics, one of the most famous nice guys of comics too, who is just universally beloved by everyone. Just seems like the coolest guy, the most talented guy. A little on his history at Marvel. His first comics credit ever, according to Grand Comics Database, is a 2-page Deathlock parody story that is in Astonishing Tales 25, and that's in August of 74. So he was Rich Buckler's assistant at the time, and yeah, I would like to read this. Like you were telling me, Matt, as we were talking a little bit about this before we started recording. Yeah, it's weird that a character like Deathlock already got a parody and not in an issue of Crazy, but actually has like a strange backup.
Hembeck.
Yeah, not drawn by Hembeck. Yeah, so I would like to check that out. But yeah, that was his first color comics work. For the rest of 74, he drew some backup stories in some of the black and white mags, like Monsters Unleashed, Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. But this issue of Creatures on the Loose is the first full-length color comic story of his career, which is crazy. And I feel so honored that the three of us are going to be talking about this, like just at his very beginning. Like it's really, really exciting. So I don't know. My earliest connection to Perez, I think, was his Batman story in the 80s called A Lonely Place of Dying. It was it came right after the death of the second Robin, Jason. And this was the introduction of Tim Drake. Oh, okay. And I don't know, Tim Drake's always been my favorite. He was the Robin of my childhood. He's the Robin that I have the most connection with. And it was written by Marv Wolfman, inked by Jim Aparo. It's from 1989. He's most famous for at DC, at least in the 80s, for his run with Marv Wolfman on on the new Teen Titans, then went on to do Crisis on Infinite Earths and, Infinity Gauntlet, just tons and tons and tons of famous shit. But as far as his 80s stuff, the ones that I personally read were the work that he did on Batman, and the first Wonder Woman comics I ever read was his run in the 80s, which is also, really, really good. And I think is still considered one of the best runs on Wonder Woman.
Who wrote that?
Who did write that? That was that. I don't know if that was. I
Is
can't
this like
remember
a
who wrote that.
post crisis, like a new status quo type of book, or was this?
I thought it was
I
a little.
think so.
I think so. Yeah. But I need to go back and reread that. I haven't reread that as since I was a little kid, but I have read The Lonely Place of Dying quite a few times, and it's just super, super excited. Matt, what's your Perez work that you're most familiar and love the most?
I think my first exposure was Crisis on Infinite Earths and some Teen Titans here and there. I was not a regular DC guy until Blue Beetle. Batman, I guess, but I don't think I actually read his Batman work though. I need to go back and fix that.
I don't think he did a ton of it, but I was the same with you. I mean, as a kid, I was all Marvel for the most part, except I got into Batman and a little bit into his Wonder Woman.
But I never read like Infinity Gauntlet or anything because I wasn't into teams or big events like which Perez kind of became famous for was like doing like being able to draw just multitudes of heroes and decades worth of characters and do it gorgeously, but just wasn't my thing for a while, so I didn't read Infinity Gauntlet until like the last 10 years ago.
Agreed. How about you, Michelle? You're familiar with too much of his work?
So as far as my own collection goes, I have just kind of a little bit of everything that he's done, but not enough to really appreciate him as much as I'm learning that I should. But an interesting thing about this Man-Wolf or Creatures on the Loose issue is I knew it must be some of his earliest work, but I didn't know that this was the earliest full comic that he worked on. So that was a very interesting surprise, and I'm grateful that we get to talk about it. But no, I mean, I have a couple Defenders issues, a couple Fantastic Four, Wonder Woman. I have one Crisis on Infinite Earth issue randomly, just kind of a little bit. I have a Star Trek issue that he worked on, a Marvel 2-in-1. I'm looking at my app here, and it's less than 20 comics total that I have that Perez worked on. So there are definitely a lot more that I think I need to explore just so I can really truly appreciate him as an artist.
Yeah, well, he's a very important artist, and we're excited that we get to talk about him more because, as Matt mentioned last episode, he has a diagnosis of terminal pancreatic cancer and is kind of taking a well-earned victory lap this last year of his life, just talking with fans, meeting with creators that he loved, and he's doing it right. And so I'm very excited we get to talk about him for, I don't know, the next, how many issues? I mean, I don't know, at least 6.
I think he drew through 37 with the cancellation. Then I think he drew the ones that were meant to be issues 38 and 39 that became Marvel Premiere. Yeah.
So I think we get him through Marvel Premiere 46, if I'm correct. So
I think you're right.
Yeah. 6 more issues. So I'll just say I ran across an interview of George Perez talking about David Kraft, the writer we'll talk about in a sec, and working with him on Man-Wolf. I think this is an interview we did with the New York Times a few years ago. He says about Kraft, he says, "We were both working on the series that frankly no one cared about. And Dave just took the ball and ran with it. He took the character into wonky territory, outer space, other dimensions, floating cities. He had this very wild imagination and he thought outside the box. That series is unlike anything I've ever done since." And this was just from a few years ago. So out of all the stuff that George Perez has worked on, he still thought that this Creatures on the Loose run was the weirdest thing, which I think is awesome.
I love that.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, it just makes me really, really excited to to talk about it. So I want to talk just a tiny bit about David Anthony Kraft. He's a great writer, wrote a lot of the 70s. He was a like a rock and roll journalist for a while, did a lot of different stuff. His first comic work was for Skywald, I think in Psycho issue 7. And he went on to work at Tales from the Zombie. He did a little bit of editing at Marvel before this, but like Perez, this is his first full-length comic story. And there was an interview that he did a couple years ago for a comics history podcast. And he told this great story about getting George Perez on this book. I'm just I have to read it because it's just too cool. So, and talking about Perez, he says, he got his shot on the first issue of Man-Wolf that I wrote. I liked it so much, but he was supposed to just be a fill-in. George Perez had the movement, the action, the excitement, everything that is Marvel is there, and I wanted that. So I pulled the mom and dad trick on John Romita and Roy Thomas. I went to Roy and said, can George be the regular guy on Man-Wolf? And Roy was like, it's okay with me if it's okay with John Romita, who was the art director. So I went to John Romita. We used to play softball on Friday afternoons in Central Park. I went to John and I said, Roy says it's okay if I have George Perez on the book. Do you have any objections? And he was like, well, if Roy says it's okay. And so he says, that's how I got George on there as the regular guy. Because in the credits on this issue, as you see, George Perez is just listed as a guest artist. I guess that it was supposed to be Tuska, but he was busy probably doing Iron Man and like 10 other fill-in issues. So
I think we have
Planet
a
of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes was what they
letters page. Yeah,
technically said he was supposed to be doing. Yeah.
Oh, nice, nice.
We have a letter for the end.
Oh, that's so awesome! I always love it when we have letters. Yeah. So I thought that was so cool. And later on, Kraft would go on to he had a pretty acclaimed run on the Defenders, which I have not read.
Me neither.
And I actually know him best from. In the 80s, he started the Comics Interview magazine, which went for like 150 issues. And I've read a bunch of those issues just because I love comics history. And it was like the best place to go for creator interviews. And so, yeah, I actually haven't read a ton of his stuff. Have either of you?
So for me, I wanted to look into him a little bit because I wasn't immediately like, oh yeah, I know that guy. So, but I realized I do know him from, like you said, the Defenders. He did the Moon Knight Scorpio story arc and the Defenders. I think he only worked on the Defenders for a total of like 20 or 22 issues. Yeah. But notably the Moon Knight story arc, as well as he actually did a Blue Oyster Cult kind of like tribute arc.
I was reading about that.
Yeah, I thought that was super interesting. Like,
so funny.
He created characters named after the album and one of the songs from the Agents of Fortune album. And I guess that's because, like you said, he was a rock and roll journalist and things like that.
So
and now I have to find those issues.
Yeah.
I need to read those. But he was also, I was just going to say, he was also the editor of Foom magazine.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Beginning with issue 15, which I thought was pretty rad. And he also worked with Perez and Klaus Janson on Marvel Super Special number 4, which is the Beatles magazine.
I read about that. Yeah. That's the one that have you read that, Matt?
No.
I have not.
Is that hard to find? Is it?
I'm assuming it's kind of hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've never come across it. And I think, Matt, if either of us had ever come across it, we would have bought it.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, but I'm really excited to read more of his stuff, especially after reading this first issue. And, but I guess on a sad note, so David Kraft died less than a year ago. I mean, he died in May of 2021 at the age of 68 from COVID. And so, it was really sad. I don't know if either of you, if you kind of just do a quick Google search of his name or his obituary, the obituary that was, I think either from the funeral home or he died in Georgia. I can't remember what the town was. It was a really funny obituary.
Is it really? Oh,
really is. It's just like, like just him just, you know, with screaming guitars on a hill with a sword and like all this stuff. It was really great.
That's
it was
rad.
one of those that, yeah, it was so just right up his alley. Like either
Royal
he
Tenenbaum.
wrote it or someone wrote it that just loved him. Yeah, it is. It was it was great.
Died heroically saving people from a
Yeah,
shipwreck.
it really was. It was so cool. And but yeah, it's sad that he died from COVID. But he's the writer for all the rest of these issues. And yeah, I'll do a little more biographical tidbits on him and Perez on the future episodes. We'll stretch it out a little bit because I could just talk forever about him. So all right, sorry. I'm gonna jump in and describe this page. So the opening page.
Before you do that though,
yes,
I did, Michelle, see a splash page from one of those Defenders with Moon Knight and Scorpio, and it was like Keith Giffen and George Perez, I think, together.
What?
But like it was like Moon Knight flying in right at the viewer. Have you seen that one? It looks like Jack Kirby, like it's a dead ringer for Jack Kirby. It's wild looking.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'd have to pull out my issues
I'll
and
share
take a
it,
look.
yeah.
Send me a picture of it. I need a few more to complete that arc, so I haven't read all of them yet. I've only flipped through a few that I own.
Okay.
So
yeah, I've always loved Scorpio, so I need to pick that stuff up.
I know.
Yeah, it's
I know.
pretty
I don't
cool.
know. I don't know why I haven't read that, but okay. Yeah, I'll move us along. I know. Sorry, we got stuck in creators there for a while.
No,
but our creators are
don't
so
be
awesome.
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. Do not apologize. This is the best part sometimes, you know? I mean, the people behind the comics are absolutely worth talking about, especially George Perez and and the late David Kraft. So
Agreed.
oh, also, and shout out to Klaus Janson, because I did get to meet him at my very first comic convention, and he is a sweetheart. So
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, he is a legend.
Yes.
Didn't he ink Fearful Symmetry? Or no,
Yeah.
does Zek do all?
I don't know if I'm not sure about that,
Hmm.
but I mean, he did everything else.
He inked,
Like,
so much
yeah.
stuff that's like
So
imprinted
much-
on my mind as like
so much
comics
stuff.
gold.
Well, so
yeah.
much stuff that's like considered some of the greatest comic stories of all time.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. So we'll get to this opening page, which I really like because it features at least the fist of Simon Stroud, which I was very excited to see that he was back. So this opening page shows a bunch of photos of the Man-Wolf fighting Kraven from last issue. And the narration reads, last issue, the Man-Wolf was taken captive by Kraven the Hunter, but not until after the first skirmish was interrupted by the police, one of whom suffered a maiming blow from the angered man-beast. And then it shows us where we are. It says, presently a police station in the 30th precinct and familiar voices. And we see a voice off panel say, explain it, Stroud. Go ahead and explain it. And then we see the angry fist of Simon Stroud and him screaming, I'm assuming, get down, will ya? I just don't know, Lieutenant. So yeah, I was glad to see even his fist and his angry yelling again. That made me very excited.
I knew you guys would be excited. I was like, yes, Stroud is back. He is back. Yeah, and the fist is fabulous. And I also like the small picture kind of to the left of the main photo that's being pounded on. It almost looks like a school photograph of Man-Wolf.
It totally does. That's great.
I loved it.
Jacob, they abbreviated the masthead. Did you note that?
They took out that he doesn't want to kill what he loves now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting. So do you think, we're still assuming that the masthead is editorial, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe this was Isabella or somebody taking, I don't know, but we kind of liked that though, right? We liked that weird, personality tick of Man-Wolf that once he's in his creature form, he specifically wants to destroy everything that John Jameson loves.
Yeah, I don't know if editorial just thought that's like a little too specific. Like it's a little wordy. It's like mentioning he's allergic to peanuts. I don't know,
It's true.
because he definitely has that motivation in this issue. It's very much part of the story. Yeah, and I thought this was kind of would you say it's like a tongue-in-cheek inversion of the splash page? I mean, like, typically you have a hero doing something heroic and dynamic and exciting, and it blows your mind, and you have to turn the page and say, screw it, I'll just buy this. And this is photographs on a desk with a coffee cup that presumably says cop on it, and he's just slamming a fist down. Like, that's kind of a cheeky inversion of the concept, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it just shows the inventiveness of the creators right on their first page, which is it's so cool.
And I too, Michelle, love the senior photo of Manwolf. His cheeky side, like this, like I just say, I count to 3 and you just turn your head over your shoulder and look right at the camera. And that's when you get that really fun one. Just so you know, you're not too posy, not too whatever. And yeah, who took these pictures?
Exactly.
Right.
And there's some really weird pictures coming up, by the way.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just Peter Parker being a creep somewhere.
Yeah,
you know, that's what I'm assuming.
So yeah, Michelle, you know that Jacob and I were ecstatic about Simon Stroud, so we were very excited about this.
Yes, I know you guys. You were just waiting for him to come back and grace the pages. So
yeah, we were quite literally breathless that episode. So on the next page, we see the lieutenant saying, then who does? You're the special task force glamour boy who stamped this case permanently closed. What do you say now? And he's pointing a very kind of Donald Sutherland finger at Stroud, and he's got his tight turtleneck on. He's like, what can I say? I thought the furry freak was wasted. And this scene is just ridiculous. So everyone's screaming like it's a Liefeld nightmare. Yeah. Holding up a photo of the cop in the ICU being operated on, Anello, who was mauled by Manwolf last issue. Well, you got it wrong. It's one of our boys, one who's been wasted by that thing, and he may die. And so Stroud says, give me another crack, Lieutenant. You read my report about how I panicked the Manwolf, and then we get a flashback. Chased him to the Statue of Liberty. He fell. I thought he was dead. And he says, but I was wrong, Lieutenant, clutching his fist, looking up at him from this cool angle. And then he grabs his weird Kirby Red Skull gun and says, I want that werewolf, Stroud. Or his lieutenant says that to him. He's like, you got it. It's all very manly, and again, Stroud's energy is just...
This is the most alpha male page. They're just screaming at each other at the top of their lungs this whole time.
There's like a secretary outside knocking on the door, like, we can hear everything you guys are saying, right?
But you're right. How creepy. Someone's taking pictures of the poor guy as he's getting operated on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just for the record.
Just to make Stroud feel really bad.
So, yeah.
It's the lines like, I thought the furry freak was wasted, or exactly what, anytime I read a comic like this, your voices pop into my head when I read lines like that.
Oh, wow. That is a high compliment.
Yes.
So I do need to mention, he explicitly, David A. Kraft mentions this later explicitly, but he was considered a hippie. There was one thing where he was saying, when he started working at Marvel in an editorial capacity, he talked to Stan Lee, and Stan was basically saying, you need to get a suit, dude. If you plan on moving up here at all, you need to buy a suit. So he was a hippie. He was a rock and roller, like we said. And I just want to mention that, Furry Freak, I think it becomes explicit later in the issue. Furry Freak Brothers was an underground comic that was published by, was written by Gilbert Shelton, and it started in 1968. It was a stoner, underground hippie comic. So I'm sure that David Kraft read Furry Freak Brothers, and he even calls him a furry freak brother later.
Yeah, that's right. I made a note in a few pages about that. They had started out as a strip in 68, and I think there was a comic book that was published, I think in 71. But I wonder, I'm trying to think of who is, I know he's probably not the first, but we've had to deal with, young writers like Jerry Conway trying to sound hip and stuff, but I don't really know if Jerry Conway was a hippie.
No.
I think that David Kraft might be the first real hippie that was working there.
I found a great photo of him sitting on a couch in the Marvel offices with Stan Lee, and Stan's got one of those giant stogie cigars, and he's just got a rock and roll t-shirt on, and he's clearly 20 years old. And it's a great photo. We should put it in the feed actually. But Yeah, he was definitely a kid, like Jerry was, but I think he was actually an iconoclast, like you know what I mean, subculture kind of kid.
I love it.
Yeah, and I love on the upper right panel here with the lieutenant holding up the picture of Anello being operated on with a Post-it note paperclip to it. But it's very Mark Texiera. I don't know if you guys are fans of Texiera, but it's very Texiera to me, his art style. And the last thing I want to mention before I move off this page is that I think I didn't notice till second read that Simon Stroud just wears a belt full of gas grenades when he walks around the police department.
Just grenades.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
I did not notice it the first time. And
now.
I snorted the second time I read this today.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
He has to be the most alpha in any room. And that's what a belt of grenades will get you, I guess.
So I was very excited with this page.
I enjoyed the opening page, and I liked the flashback to the Statue of Liberty because I didn't get to read that issue. I only got to enjoy it by listening to your podcast. So now I got a little flashback into that scene. So
it was awesome. I'm glad we got a little flashback too. Yeah. But on the next page, we switch focus. I think we're at JJJ's home, right? At first I was wondering if this is the Bugle offices or not. I can't tell if it's his condo or his editorial floor of the Bugle.
I think it's the Bugle.
I think in another office.
Another office. We saw his home office before, but let's just say it's the Bugle. But
I see what you mean.
So he's received a mysterious letter. And John's fiance, Christine Saunders, is there as well. And she says in that first panel, off panel, she says, "It's addressed to both of us, Mr. Jameson." And he's like, "What in blue blazes?" And I love that photo or the illustration of him in the second panel is so great. And I love the anger flash behind his head. Then we hear Christine again. She's like, "We're supposed to follow the instructions if we want to see John again." And that third panel, it's like, "I'm scared, Papa Jonah." She's gone back to calling him Papa Jonah.
So strange.
I know. We got such a good Christine for like one issue. One issue, we got a real person. But she's kind of back to just a cardboard cutout, Gwen clone in this, which is, I don't know, it's a little sad. Hopefully she'll get back to what Tony Isabella was doing with her last issue.
Do we know if she sticks around in this run at all? Like plays a role in John's life?
I'm trying not to read ahead.
Yeah, not either. I mean, I know that he and She-Hulk, right? Weren't they a thing for a while, or am I thinking of somebody else?
No, I think so. But I don't know how long. I mean, I think she's around for a while. But I thought it was weird. Just in that first row of 3 panels, she calls him Mr. Jameson in the first one and Papa Jonah in the third. Again, people, I know. Sometimes male rad, they don't know what to do. Sometimes they're just very confused on how a woman should sound in comics. And sometimes
it's the second time they met, right? I mean,
I know. It's
so strange to me. That stood out. I was like, Papa Jonah. I'm gonna have to ask the guys if she has called him this before.
Once before.
The first time they met.
Like the first time they met, and that's what made him really like her. And
but
we were appropriately creeped out by it.
Yeah, I mean that's like she should have like a Japanese school uniform on, like have a lollipop in her mouth. Like it's just like gross.
Yeah, it was infantilizing and gross, and but of course Jonah loved that. Mm-hmm. So
of course, that definitely was a standout. But I mean, poor Christina. I thought she was an aspiring artist, was it, or a writer?
She's an artist.
No, it was just there was such an amazing characterization last issue, and now she's just back to bland. Papa Jonah.
We're back in screaming mode though, so everyone's got to scream right now. This is a crisis.
There, you're right. Jonah goes on to scream. He's saying there's no signature, nothing but a set of directions. Yeah, Jonah likes specifics, and this is just this ominous letter that is just a set of directions saying that if you want to see John again, come here. It's no mention of money or motives. And Christine's like, "What can we do?" And he says, "Do, Christine, Lord help us, but for John's sake, we've got to do just as it says and pray." And then, we get a fairly stereotypical panel of Christine crying. It says, "There is silence then, and in that silence is eloquently written the concern of a father, J. Jonah Jameson, and of a fiancée, Christine Saunders, for a man, Colonel John Jameson." It's a little
I do
clunky. Yeah.
I like the two panels though with Jameson with the cigar and Christine, kind of in tears, I guess. Those did stand out to me on this page.
With her engagement ring blinging, by the way.
Yeah.
That's true. I didn't even notice that.
I like the zipatone on Jameson.
Yeah, they use that effect a few times in this issue, which I thought was cool.
And so how does that work? That's like it's just a sheet you lay over your original art, right? You rub it on and then pull it off, and you can pick different densities of dots.
I think so. I do not know. That shows my lack of I am not a visual artist. I appreciate it and try to know stuff about it, but yeah, as far as process goes, but yeah, it's a process that, I mean, is very old at this point. I would think as well. I mean, I remember like Bill Everett using it on some of the first Submariner stories, I think, but
oh wow.
Yeah, same. I think I'm going to be corrected on that. So
I did not know. I didn't notice. I didn't notice that about that panel, but maybe that's why I liked it so much, because it's different. It stands out.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really cool.
And the cool black and yellow background. Moonlight coming in and being framed on the wall.
Last two panels, we have them rushing out, and those the perspectives of those last two panels are really cool too. Actually, of them rushing out of the office, and then it's kind of this view from the top of the building down on Jonah's car as they're taking off. So yeah, I kind of liked those.
I thought that bottom row was very effective.
Yeah, really.
The bottom right panel reminds me of like that kind of 80s video game, like the lines, like with, I don't know. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like vector graphics as opposed to like I know exactly what you're talking about. That's great.
Yeah, but I do like the perspectives, especially of them running with Christine's like pink bell bottoms flailing.
Yeah. So on the next page, we get a good dose of Petra's colors here. Really standing out. So they arrive at the address they were sent to, and it says, "Christine's thoughts are fragmented, confused. For last night's vision of the ravening brute stirred dread memories that have yet to come together." So we talked about this last episode, but she knows that John is the man wolf, but she can't admit it to herself yet. So she has some big mental blocks that she's starting to erode and bring down. And so they're in her fancy car that she was in, by the way, like that Bentley. We never got corrected on what that was, but it's definitely some rich Rolls Royce or Bentley or something. So Jonah jumps out and says, "There, that has to be it." He's pointing to this giant stone wall lined by trees. And they go in, and Petra in the next panel is showing them entering these giant double steel girded doors into the stone wall. And the stone wall is purple and the stones are black. And it just makes it kind of
so
psychedelic,
weird.
Doctor Strange kind of cool quality. And we get a lot of Doug Minch experiential kind of narration in this, which I dug. It's quiet, only the muted sound of distant traffic. I think I mentioned that last issue that, Doug would say you could hear the traffic bouncing off of the alley walls,
Yep.
And the nervous footsteps of uneasy nocturnal visitors disturb a silence pregnant with tangible menace. So
That
Kraft
part,
is very,
I was like, oh my God.
yeah, very evocative and very ramped up here.
It is very Doug Mensch-esque.
Yeah.
But that part definitely stood out to me.
Yeah, I totally agree. In the middle row here, it says night wind sighs through the trees, leaves rustle overhead. So we've entered into this large estate. I'm assuming this is Craven's some land he owns in New York City. A big chunk. I mean, it's not a park. It's these giant steel doors clang, clunk. It says clung, close shut. Once they enter, they're trapped in there. And we see a silhouette of someone in a tree standing on a tree branch. And then he drops down to the earth, and it's revealed in another cool zipatone close-up. Surely you remember me, Jameson, Craven the Hunter. I'm sure, I can't remember how many times he's met Jonah, but I'm sure he has.
Yeah, I'm sure he has.
And Jonah's pissed. I demand to know what you've done with my son. And he says, I've done nothing yet. His life is in your hands. For my friend Craven once believed man to be the most dangerous prey of all. And then we flash back to this last panel and see that he was hunting the man wolf for sport, and he, just for expediency's sake, he could have kicked his ass, but to be expedient, he used a gas grenade. All right. He cut some corners.
He did. Sad that those gas grenades are just normal looking now.
They're not leopard.
Exactly. I was so upset. I was like, this is my chance to see the leopard printed gas grenades. But
yeah. That he has got to have had custom made by some weirdo, you know.
Well, who's the guy that makes all this stuff for supervillains in New York?
Yeah.
Right.
Didn't they like dive into him with like Bendis's Daredevil? Like, and
yeah, probably.
Like the Gladiators, like, oh, I get my stuff done by this guy. It's whoever that is.
Yeah, exactly. I just go to Venture Brothers and like the guy that makes like Rusty Venture's special speed suits.
He's a little guy, right?
Yeah. I think his name's Enzo.
Yes.
Yeah.
The stone walls kind of reminded me of an animal print here. And like the purple.
Yeah, that's true.
The purple color with the green kind of background, it seemed very Craven to me. As soon as I saw the entrance, I was like, well, that's how they know they've arrived.
Yeah.
Although I guess they didn't know who they were going to meet. So.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, Craven has a lot of flair, so he would definitely want his signature look to be on his hidden fortress.
Yeah, good call there, Michelle.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of you because you get the next page.
Much.
Oh yeah, this next page is so awesome. So a lot is going on the top of this next page. It's almost it's a full panel with different recaps of last issue's events on the left. There's recaps of Spider-Man 125 on the right, and it's actually quite complex, like the more that I looked at it. It says, so Craven's basically, continuing his rant, saying and conveyed him here, talking about John, to a chamber that absorbs moon radiation, where he reverted to John Jameson. And as he says this, Christine finally, I guess that's where the blocks in her memory kind of come down.
And Perez's way of depicting that with that weird plasma psychic. Sorry. So
cool. Like, yeah, you're right. I mean, and so, separating these two different recaps is this, we call it plug plasma, but it's more like if you put the plug plasma in a lava lamp, and it's just this weird. So that's her. It's almost this visualization of her memories becoming unlocked.
A release. Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool. And she's screaming, no. And then on the right, the narration says shards of memory coalesce into a vivid imagery of pain as shock obliterated events rush back to her consciousness. And so, we're seeing a recap of ASM 125, where she's seeing Man-Wolf fight Spider-Man, and also realizing that that John Jameson is Man-Wolf. And I like that even just the bottom right corner of that panel is just like a quick origin of just the Man-Wolf in general. Like you have the moonstone glowing, you have the moon in the background, you have him transforming, but it's her memory of everything. And each of these things has that strange quality of a memory to where, I don't know. Yeah, this panel is just masterfully done.
I loved it as well, especially the half man, half wolf depiction so cool. In the bottom right. That was the coolest. And hasn't she had flashbacks before, but I guess none as vivid as this one, I guess.
Yeah, when she was kind of, looking, she was kind of talking about that she basically knew John was the Man-Wolf last issue as she was kind of pensively staring out the window. So she has had some memories come back, but I think this is the real breakdown of those blocks mentally. And so all these memories are flooding back to her. And what a cool way. Like Perez has done 2 pages of a comic before this. Like, this is crazy. It's crazy how good he is right out of the gate.
I love that he did that 50-50, like the thing that is associated with John Romita Sr. Spider-Man, half Peter Parker, half Spider-Man, where it's divided right down the middle of his face. He did that with the wolf. I mean, that's such a cool thing to do here, as John is screaming and the other half of his face is growling. Yeah, and I love that weird wispy kind of cloud stuff he put in front of the moon there. Like, just already, again, like you're saying, out of the gate, he's a master.
Yeah, and I think that and stuff like this, I mean, honestly, with the two different recaps going on, memories being unlocked, half the panel. I mean, this is a really complicated layout for a panel. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if Romita would allow something like this in a Spider-Man or a Thor comic at this time. But we get cool shit like this in these horror books of the 70s because they didn't have as much oversight, because they didn't care as much about them. So they're just like, oh yeah, you hippies, go be weird. We don't care about that. Like, and that's why and that's what makes these books things that the three of us love so much. That's Bronze Age weirdness. Bronze Age weirdness is hippies and weird, awesome drug-taking guys starting to work for Marvel and not having any oversight. They just get to do whatever the fuck they want because they're on a book that is not the bestseller. So they can do whatever. And that's a key ingredient to Bronze Age weirdness.
I agree. And I'm assuming this will be in the feed.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The last thing I want to say about it before you move on is that I love that front and center, right, like foreground, is Christine looking right at us as this epiphany happens, and she's like grabbing, like holding her head and screaming like no to us. Very, very masterfully done. Yeah,
and Petra's given her some killer eyeshadow too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I noticed that, the blue shadow. I did want to point out, though, that at this point, we still don't know who Craven's associate is.
Yeah.
Nope.
We don't know who he's working with. And, going into this issue, I was excited for the reveal of, why he captured the man-wolf, who he's working for, what is this big plan?
Me too.
And he reveals it here that I have staged a mock safari. This is the big plan. This is the big plan is welcome to my zoo. And you are now going to run around and be hunted. It's just, I was like, really? That's what it's come to. Okay. That was a big reveal.
Well, there is more to be revealed. We still don't know who wants this.
That's true. The associate is still stumped. But Michelle, you're right. I thought it was so funny. So Craven's basically just yelling at them like, nobody warns Craven. Heed this, I'm a hunter. If not for the wishes of my associate, I would stalk the man-wolf to kill. But I've given my word, and so it must be. And then he just leaps into the trees and is gone and just throws down a rifle for Jonah. He's like, he'll find you soon enough. And when he does, you may need this. Yeah, and that's when he says, for in order to gauge the man-wolf in action, I have staged this mock safari, the death game of Craven the Hunter. Yeah, my one of my notes for this page is, Matt, for my birthday, I want you to stage me a mock safari.
You got it.
Yeah, I know you'll do that for me, and I'm
working on the gas grenades right now.
As long as they're leopard print. Yeah.
The party.
I love in the middle panel where he's pointing a finger at Jonah and doing his speechifying. He looks very manga, like anime, like very Japanese.
He does. Yeah, you're right.
Very big. He's very big in this issue.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. What a cool page.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Love it.
So yeah, this wasn't the safari I expected based on the teaser from last issue, but
no.
That's cool. And also just want to mention that this in many ways, like I don't know much, I haven't read much about Ditko creating this character of Craven, but I'm assuming this is inspired by Count Zaroff.
Count Zaroff.
Most Dangerous Game. So he's kind of going back to his roots here a little bit.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Shake it up, Craven just disappears leaving Jonah holding the rifle, just going, blasted, he's gone. And it says the midnight boughs are as leafy pathways to Craven, who returns to that aforementioned chamber. So some of Kraft's wording here is very, very Munchian.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I love that midnight boughs are as leafy pathways. So he just is like a panther leaping through the treetops. And he goes to a little building in the middle of this forest in the middle of the city that has a lion head on it. So he's fully branded, like you were saying, Michelle. Like he's got leopard printed kind of stuff going on. He's got a lion head here. And we see inside...
Yeah,
he's got his
capri
mad
pants.
scientist thing, right? And he's like, I've unshamed you, Jameson. You're free to go. And John says, oh, is that so? And then he leaps into action. Again, a very anime kind of pose, like, well, maybe I don't intend to leave until I get some satisfaction. As we see Craven's foot in the foreground. And Craven's already aware he's ready for this. And he backhands John. Whack, puerile fool. Craven's is the sheer strength of savagery unparalleled. See? And so John's stunned on the floor, and it says, he sees. And Craven walks out, and it says, in the lofty ceiling above his insensate form.
This next part is my favorite.
I love this part.
so
panel
good.
slides open, so it's a moon roof, and we see the moon, and the beams shine down on John. It says, a panel slides open to admit lunar rays of pain. In the bottom row, we get these skinny, long panels that shows this big spotlight of moonlights playing down on John. And I have to read the language here because it's so Menchian. But the sequence is John kind of like looking defensively up at the moon and then grabbing his head and like clutching down in pain and then looking up, throwing his head back and clenching his fists. And then he starts turning into the man-wolf. And here's the copy that goes with that. And catalytic rays of change that lick at the eerie moonstone grafted into his throat, burn excruciatingly through it into his raw, tormented soul, and trigger an unholy metamorphosis, a night dark transformation into a weird lycanthropic blasphemy, a slavering, malevolent man-wolf. And then the final panel, he looks up fully transformed with the moonstone glowing red.
Boom.
What a cool sequence. Wow.
I will say, I think the narration was a little bit better than the art of that particular transformation. I know you guys like to critique wolf transformation panels, and this was not one of my personal favorites, but it was effective because of the lunar rays of pain shining down into the room.
Well, it's a unique transformation because so much of the first 3/4 of it, we're normally pretty close up when we see a transformation, and this is from far away, which we rarely get, probably because it doesn't work as well as it does when it's close up.
The last two panels I really enjoyed though, but I lost it when I read lunar rays of pain. I just lost it. It's hilarious.
But that fourth panel, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, right? That fourth panel, it looks like it's just doing a graphic wipe, like a video effect. Like he's like, he doesn't literally change side to side. Like,
no.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a little goofy there.
Yeah.
So I wasn't a huge fan of that one either, Michelle.
Yeah, not bad. But when we get to the end, we'll point out something else I think that was done better as far as transformations.
Cool.
Definitely. Yeah. So I do love, this next page though kind of makes up for it because man, I love the artwork on this whole page, but that opening panel of the fully transformed man-wolf just smashing the fuck out of the machinery in that room is pretty great.
Yeah.
Like just I don't know, this reminds me of a panel that you would see Perez do later on. Like this is a signature Perez style right here, I would say.
Yeah, and I like that this is a big flex for the man-wolf because, like, Jack, we made a lot of hay about that, right? Like, he would get jumped by 3 mortal human guys and get his ass whooped. Like, this is clearly a moon-powered guy. He's strong. And
yeah, he's definitely strong.
He's got a flat top, which I'm not super fucking stoked about, but...
I know.
We get rid of it, though. Once he becomes a star god, he loses his Air Force haircut.
Yeah, well, thank God for that. I love
the Oh,
go
I'm
on.
sorry.
No,
You go ahead.
I was just going to talk about the. I was just going to talk about the narration in that top panel. Is that what you were going to do?
I was actually going to point out the colors. That the coloring
Yeah.
is one of my favorite parts of that particular panel, with the purple, pink, and orange background contrasting the green, the shattered green. I actually didn't know what that was. Machinery, you said, Jacob?
Yeah. I think it was. Yeah, don't you think it's some kind of weird? He's still in the lab, right?
It's something. I think that whatever he broke. I think you're right, Jacob, because whatever he broke makes that doorway open.
Yes,
so he broke something mechanical.
Yeah, but Michelle, Petra, this is a thing that Petra Goldberg does and has done, is she'll use really vivid colors, but she'll use all of them.
Yeah,
like in one panel, which is so cool. Like, and she uses a lot of pinks and a lot of purples a lot of the time too, which is kind of a signature of hers. And yeah, her coloring is great, and it fits in so well with this issue.
It reminds me of, like, whenever I see that, it reminds me of Doctor Strange, or kind of Ditko, anything that's like Kirby or Ditko cosmic, like where it's just like immediately psychedelic, and so it's more expressionistic than anything else. I love it.
Yeah, so like you said, whatever Man-Wolf destroyed there makes the door open up. Here's a metallic hiss, and then the lupine brute seeks egress.
I'm just a small-town werewolf country lawyer, Your Honor, but I seek egress over my client's property. God.
Oh, sometimes these guys.
That was one word too many for me.
I know. In true Doug fashion, yep. He just takes it one word over the edge into cheeseball. But so he's outside. So outside, the night is still, except for a slight breath of warm air that carries the scent of two hated beings pray for the Man-Wolf. Then we see right above the Man-Wolf, we see Craven, who's crouching on a tree limb. And he says he's thinking, my associate wants Jonah Jameson and the girl killed, but it is not the way of Craven to arrange a slaughter. I live to hunt. Thus, in the spirit of fairness, I have given them a rifle and a chance at survival. So, yeah, this is Craven going against what his associate wants. So his associate, whoever it is, just wants the Man-Wolf to slaughter Jonah and Christine. But Craven wants to give them a fighting chance, and so he's brought the rifle into the equation.
Yeah. Do you think that he would let them live? Like, I don't know. I unpacked that last panel there like a couple of times. Like,
I know. So
he's saying, I was hired to kill Jonah and Christine and bring the Man-Wolf to someone.
Yes.
But I'm giving him a chance. I don't know. It was a weird one. And I also was wondering, does the Man-Wolf not have the like preternatural senses that Jack as the Beast has? Like Jack, they would mention Jack's sense of smell. Like, is he would smell Craven. Like he's anger based. So like,
yes.
Is he so driven by the scent of Jonah, his father, and his fiance, that he's like nose blind to the guy that captured him?
I would think so, because they're hated beings. They're two things that he hates.
Which we lost when we changed the masthead between issues.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's that doesn't quite make as much sense. And yeah, that Craven's got to be easy to smell. I mean, it's just nothing but crazy testosterone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt, I thought about that too when reading this page, because Craven's literally right above him in the tree. And he's just has no idea. Man-Wolf has no idea he's there, which didn't add up. But, and it was interesting that they tried to give him a little bit of, I wasn't just going to slaughter them. I'm going to give him a chance. I'm going to give him a fighting chance. Like
he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Just tried to give him a little bit of something there. But I do like those last two panels.
Me too. I just love the image of like Craven crouching above him and him oblivious to it with his moonstone glowing in the dark. That's just cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so we move on to the next page here, and we got some great colors. This first panel here is like Petra flexing pretty hard.
I know, right?
because so it's Jonah and Christine like stalking through the woods looking for the man wolf, and she says if John attacks, you won't shoot him. And Jonah says, I don't know. And she says, you can't. And in this panel, Petra has done something very subtle and cool, because there's these big, strange plants that I'm sure Craven has had brought in from Africa or whatever and planted here and hires these gardeners to maintain. But Petra has colored them purple and blue, like teal, just to show that these are alien and that essentially Jonah and Christine are basically might as well be on the moon. Like, it's so strange and weird, and they're so out of their element that she just does that with a couple color swatches. It's just fascinating. So Jonah continues, do you think that I want to? He's my own son. But if the man wolf is out for blood, and then we get the close up of him holding the rifle, pulling the bolt back. I don't know, Christine. God help me. I don't know. And then we get this great panel of, it's like a quasi silhouette of the beast throwing his arms out and his head back and baying at the moon. And it says, and as if in mockery, the gloom echoes. And we get the ow with the dread hunting cry of the man wolf. And we get this great panel looking down from like the trees of Jonah and Christine. He says, this is it. And she says, Johnny, which is heartbreaking because, you know, she still thinks of him as her boyfriend. And these bottom two panels here are so cool. Jonah chokes out his cigar and says, Lord. And we get him in the background holding the rifle, Christine in the midground, turning with this explosion of like emotional trauma. And in the foreground, we see like the back and the head and the raised claws of the man wolf, like framing the border of the panel. And it says, like a fiendish image conjured of hate, materializes from the ebony shadows. And this last panel is so wild. And it says, and woe to those he seeks. And the man wolf is crouched down, one claw is hanging so low, it's like brushing the grass. And Petra has done this starburst behind him of white to yellow to orange to red. And then on top of that, Klaus Janson has done these black inks that are these rays coming out. And I would have thought in any other book that like in Daredevil or Batman, these would be words like the Joker, like ha 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 or something, but they aren't letters. It's just these strange rays or these geometric shapes emanating out of just blackness out of the starburst of light. Gorgeous. Yeah, the wolf himself isn't that great, actually, honestly. The figure work isn't that great, but everything else on this page is just stunning. Yeah,
this was my favorite page. I think out of the issue, this is probably my favorite page. For that panel to the bottom, the last panel there, fantastic. I love it. But just the range on this page, I mean, the different perspectives, the wolf howling, that part was amazing. How we get to see Christine and JJ like from above, like in this kind of trap, and the gun and the second to last panel with the werewolf kind of obscuring the front there. It was just fantastic. I enjoyed this page thoroughly.
Yeah, I have to echo what you said, Michelle. Like that page where the beast is baying and that angle of Jonah and Christine like looking down at them, it's inset within the panel, so they're already like constricted within a constriction. And they saying this is it. Like they heard him going, like we're fucked.
Yeah, they're fucked.
Yeah. We're gonna very get Jack Russell.
Yeah.
That reminded me a lot of Jack just howling at the moon with, arms spread, just wild beast out in the forest.
Wild abandon. I love it.
Yeah. Yep.
No, such a cool page. Yeah, man, I think that's a really good description of those lines around the werewolf. Like you're right. In any other comic, that would be, text of some sort. But yeah, it's just these strange lines that are just, it's so cool.
Almost like piano keys, the shape a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder.
Like a Jack Kirby Fourth World piano.
Yeah, you're right. It is a fourth world piano. So cool. And so on the next page, we see the man wolf leaps at Christine. Jonah takes aim with his rifle, and the narration, I love this narration, says, JJJ has been called a hard man. Yet his is a terrible decision to shoot his son or let Christine die. He fires. And so we see Jonah firing. It's got a little tear in his eye. It says the shot goes wild and there is no time for another, but it is enough to remind the frenzied, remorseless beast of a very painful, similar incident. So he remembers being shot by Simon Stroud.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
he's pissed.
He's pissed. He's like, I hate being shot. And instantly goes, it says, very painful, similar incident. And in mesomorphic rage, the rabid man-wolf turns on Jameson.
I don't know if Kraft knows what that word means.
I don't know either.
Because he's not... That was a thing in the 70s, that when they identified the body types.
Mm-hmm.
And so a mesomorph is someone who is not particularly tall or short and is more muscle than anything else, more muscle mass than fat. It's just a weird
such a weird
reference.
And it's in like the adjective, the kind of rage is mesomorphic, which I don't know. I get it.
He's muscle bound. I get
he's muscle bound. I get it. Like it makes kind of sense, but yeah. So Jonah had his one shot. He missed. And then Man-Wolf turns and just backhands him. And Jonah goes flying. And it says murder blazes in those baleful red eyes.
So this page shows that the Man-Wolf, much like when Jack mauled Buck, this is for real.
Yeah, this is a real deal.
He was going to kill Christine.
Yeah.
And then he was going to kill his dad.
Mm.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's maybe not as effective as last page's art, but still really good.
No, I think actually some of Perez's depictions of Jonah are a little dodgy here. Like when he actually pulls the trigger, that's a little odd. The final panel when the beast backhands, by the way, beastie backhand.
That's right. Got a drink for that.
You too, Michelle.
Cheers.
Cheers. Like he looks, there's again that kind of weird manga anime. Like I love manga. I'm not trying to say this as an insult, but there's a very kind of simplified, cartoony. Again, not an insult. You know what I mean? The cartooning element to this. Some of these things, as opposed to other stuff. Like,
well, it's not a style we see here a whole lot.
No, exactly. So it's noteworthy when it comes up, especially this time period. I love when the beast starts growing at his dad, and the cigar literally falls out of his mouth when he realizes I had a shot, I missed. I had a shot to kill my son to save a young lady, and I missed, and now I'm dead, and she's dead. And he drops a cigar, and the beast, that profile is great.
Oh yeah, I love that, especially because the eyes are actually red there.
Yeah,
I wish they would have made they would have colored the eyes red in that final panel. Maybe made his face a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
but that's okay. But yeah, that was very effective. That side profile was, menacing.
So we get a splash page. The beast had just backhanded his father. His father's dropped the rifle. We don't know how many rounds are in there. And again, the narration continuing as murder blazes in those baleful red eyes. And then we turn to, but it is not to be. And Simon Stroud dives in from off screen, and he's tackled the Man-Wolf from behind. It says a brashly familiar figure intervenes, and Jonah's on the ground just saying, Stroud! And Stroud's got his weird Jack Kirby gun. He's got like almost knee-high boots, so it's almost like he's wearing jodhpurs this issue,
look like
which
he's
is
wearing
kind of weird. So he's tackling the beast from behind. The beast is angry. Christine's in the background kind of trying to collect herself, and I like the depiction of Jonah with his back to us on the ground. Kind of, we just see the back of his head and his legs splayed as he's trying to kind of get up with the beast crouching over him. And I like his radiation suit. I know a lot of people don't like it. I like it, and I like it the way that Perez is drawing it.
I do too. I think this splash page is close to being really, really good, but it's just
step up from that Tesca Coletta thing.
Yes,
last
it's a
issue.
step up from a coloring book page. Yes, but yeah, there's something about the man wolf's face, and just something about the physicality of the bodies, where the man wolf's face looks a little small. It's not really where his neck should be. There's just a few things that are weird about this to me.
His hand is bigger than his face.
Yes.
Yeah.
Only one of his hands, though. The
point.
proportions are a little off. And I'm with you. This could have been a fantastic splash page. I still like it. I enjoy it. But for a splash page, they could have put a lot more detail and a lot more time, almost like it was rushed, slightly rushed.
This could have been a poster.
Yeah,
Right.
this could have been a poster, but I don't know. I think this page got away from Klaus Janson, is my feel.
I would have loved to have had George Perez redo this and pay him top dollar to like do it properly and ink himself.
Oh, it would have been
I
great.
bet that would be a sight to see.
Like even the moon, there's no detail at all.
I know. Yeah, you're right. Michelle, I think it does look rushed.
It is
like
rushed.
It does look like, oh shit, I'm running out of time. Like, I know this is awesome, but I got like 3 more pages, or I don't know, where are we? Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of more pages left. So he's probably worried.
Yeah, I wonder if Tuska kind of at the last minute bailed and said, I can't do this. I have Planet of the Apes, I have Iron Man, I have you need to find somebody to do this issue. And there's like a 10-12 day kind of turnaround or something.
A deadline thing.
You're
Well,
probably right.
I guess we'll get to it, but I think, isn't that why we don't have a letters page? Because of a deadline issue?
They lost it. That's what they say.
Oh, they lost it? Okay.
We'll read that.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Oh man,
it's all very like touch and go. Like it feels like Marvel was just kind of keeping running and publishing books like out of habit more than like skill or planning.
Yeah.
Like it was just a perpetual motion
great.
machine.
Well, I'm excited because I'm just reading the digital version, so I don't have a letters page in this, so I'm excited.
Oh, gotcha.
But,
I do like that Stroud just kind of pops out of nowhere.
Yeah. That's my only noted for this page.
He's been running just as fast as he can from the police station to here, and
yeah, he's lapped Steve Prefontaine like twice. He's passed Forrest Gump. He's everybody's yeah.
So. Yeah, but I love the action on this next page. So, yeah, compared to kind of like the ridiculous wrestling moves that we got last issue, like this fight is exciting. I mean, just the dynamic tension and action in these panels, I really latched onto. So the man wolf has Stroud on the ground, like trying to throttle him, but I like that the narration says that Stroud uses his CIA training to get his legs up, and with this big like heave-ho, he kind of sends Man-Wolf flying, which I guess is a signature CIA move.
So
that's cool.
The first panel you just kind of glided over because it doesn't matter, but that's judo.
Oh, yep.
The Man-Wolf used whatever momentum Simon Stroud had against him and continued to throw. So judo is a drink, Michelle.
Okay, that's my last. I'm out.
Yeah, that's my last set.
That first panel to me is a little odd, by the way. Like we see Stroud hitting something and saying "clud," but we don't really see what he's hitting.
There's a couple times this issue that happens that I've noticed. I've kind of tried to,
and I didn't want to see his taint, but I've now seen his perineum.
Now you know. So there you go.
There we go. And I know what Simon Stroud's brotch area looks like.
Yeah,
but that is an invisible force field for sure that he's hitting.
Yeah.
That's weird. But I love that last panel, as strange as it kind of seems. It definitely, I don't know. I liked the illusion of action in these panels. It's strange and weird. It's like I know something's going on here and it's exciting and I kind of like it, but I don't want to pick it apart too much because I know it won't stand up to that.
Yeah, but so by the way, when the Man-Wolf is grabbing onto Stroud and Stroud's on his back, this judo move, by the way, was another judo move. So another drink.
We need to get another drink.
This would not work. Like just physics, like straight up science.
Yeah.
Is it time?
It is. Michelle and I are empty, so
Okay. My wife brought me one mid.
oh, come on.
Oh, shout out to Renee, the real MVP.
I mean, I do really like that. Like he's doing. I mean, this is a very Captain America. Like somehow he doesn't have the leverage, but he's jumping onto his back hands and kicking out with his feet. That's very cool. And the Beast flying back and hitting something. Flat.
Another invisible force fields all around this zoo.
It's a cool panel, but yeah. So the Beast has rebounded from his attack from Simon Stroud, and Simon's crouching in the foreground with his grenade belt on, and he says, "Okay, furry freak brother, this is where you pay the dues for a policeman named Anello." So this is all about cop vengeance, cops protecting cops, and then out of nowhere, Craven comes in the frame and says, "Wrong, insolent, interfering fool," as he, like with a giant Christmas ham-sized fist, just punches Simon Stroud at the base of his neck. Whomp! It's explosive purple and pink from Petra. And he's stunned Simon, and Craven says, "I don't know what you're doing here, but no one disrupts Craven's plans. No one." And then the man wolf just steps in and does another beastie backhand, which is a drink.
Yep.
Cheers.
And he's in the foreground, like lunging forward, this really crazy perspective. And he's hitting Craven, but you can't even see Craven. It's just a hand reaching out of a starburst explosion. And it says Clow. I keep thinking it says clown with a K, but it says Clow. And it's just one hand reaching out there saying, "Help."
Yeah.
The attack is swift, unerring, for the man wolf has recognized yet another foe. And we see Craven crouching out at the base of a tree, just showing us his genital region. And he's holding his shoulder and he says, "So, my half-human friend, by such brutal tactics, you have made Craven angry." And that angry is the bottom panel, just an extreme close up on Craven's eyebrows and eyes. Love it.
It's like we're in Shogun Assassin right now. Or something.
it's like a Japanese, exactly. It's like Shogun Assassin. This whole page was really fun, dynamics wise. A lot going on. Like again, Craven doesn't look great on the ground, holding his injured shoulder, but the close up, the next panel and the previous panels, like just it's all good stuff.
Well, and if you compare the detail of this page to the previous one, like it's such a huge difference. The previous page looks like a coloring book compared to this one.
And I just like seeing Simon Stroud hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that top right panel, like you said, with the Christmas ham fist. That was enjoyable for sure. And this is a level up from the previous action scene. I really loved the angry eyes at the bottom. That was a fantastic panel for me.
Yeah, very spaghetti Western.
Yeah.
But this also, it made me think again about why didn't Man Wolf notice Craven before? And now he recognizes him as another foe. It's like, he didn't sniff him out. He didn't, notice him until now.
Just because he was in a tree, I guess. I don't understand that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe now because he can't ignore him now because he's in the action and he sees what's going on. And,
but one shot him with a gun and one shot him with his nipples.
Yeah, that's true.
Magnetized his muscles.
Magnetized his muscles. Oh man, I forgot about that. That was the best part of last issue. Was the magnetized muscles.
There's a house ad at the bottom of this page. It says "Defenders versus Wrecking Crew for the Life of New York." I'm a huge fan of the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that until now, actually.
They're like my favorite.
They are pretty cool, actually.
I love the Wrecker, particularly. Always had a thing for him since I was a kid. I don't know why. I love that villain.
He's the one. He has the tool that functions like Thor's hammer. What is it, the crowbar?
The crowbar that's enchanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love him. I love him so much. I don't know why.
Oh, I love it too.
So, Matt, on this next page, I thought of you immediately as we went into the first panel. because it seems like Craven has a bit of like angry Hulk strength because he smashes the man wolf into a tree and breaks it in half.
Yeah. I don't think that actually registered with me in the first couple of reads. How much that was.
Oh my God. All right. So yeah, he does that, picks him up, hurls him into another tree.
What is that? That's a body slam.
Yeah, that is a body slam. Okay.
That's a drink, Michelle.
Well, thank God we have our drinks now. Cheers to that.
I need a rundown of the rules. How many occasions are we drinking for? No, I do. I think it's fun. The moments that you guys pick. I love drinking games. So.
Yeah.
What are we working on so far this season? We're doing When the Cover Lies.
Body slams,
judo. If the werewolf doesn't realize it's a full moon and he's just out running around.
Yeah, we're keeping.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that happened last issue. If someone thinks it's a costume.
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
And not an actual werewolf. Yeah,
we're still looking for new tropes from John, but we're using Jack's tropes, and they've actually paid off.
Yeah, they've worked pretty well.
I love it. Thank you for going over those.
So yeah, Craven picks up Man-Wolf, says, "How easy for one such as I to quell vile bestiality," and throws him against another tree, or maybe not. I mean, it's another one of those, like maybe it's a force field, but we see kind of leaves a little bit coming out. But then it says, not such frothing incarnate evil. Such hate must needs endure. Okay, did that
David.
Confuse you guys as well? Okay.
I read that like 4 times. And
I read it so many times. I was like, am I missing something?
It's some Elizabethan, like Shakespearean type of like way of saying something, but it still doesn't work.
No, it doesn't.
I'm with you guys there. I went over that a couple times myself.
So now Man-Wolf has jumped onto Craven, but then he whips out an old faithful. He says, "My electro burst will yet prevail." And then, even though I like the color that Petra has given them on this issue, they're basically just hot pink lasers, which I thought was pretty awesome. Yeah, Zatask. And I liked, so that was great. So Man-Wolf is stunned. On that final panel, where we see Christine and Jonah in the distance, Simon Stroud in the foreground, it says, "Courage is an emotional drug needed to face reality."
True.
I'm like, yeah, okay, that is true. A grim but all too real reality. And Simon sees the two of them, and he's like, "Get back, both of you!"
With the grenade.
Yeah, he's always got his grenades.
Yeah. So when Craven's ranting and he does that body slam that we drank for, how easy for one such as I to quell vile bestiality. First of all, that is not how you spell the word bestiality.
Nope.
Second of all, I Googled it just to check. Don't Google bestiality spelled like this. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and say, don't do it. Not even in incognito mode. Just don't do it.
Okay.
It may be on DuckDuckGo, but I wouldn't even recommend that. Just don't do it.
Okay.
So
you took one for the team.
I took one for the team. Yeah, now I'm on the FBI's fucking radar. So it's BESTI, not BEAS. It's not beast.
Yes.
Even though that's the root of the word, it changes. It's an irregular word. So don't search for bestiality like this, for God's sake. Thank you.
Excellent.
Before I forget, I do have to commend your sound effects, Matt. You're very skilled at the sound effects throughout this issue. You've added a lot to.
No, he's good at it.
Our discussion. You're great at it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
God, gold star.
I love to give.
He does it when he's alone in his own room reading comics.
I actually read these out loud. I'm not. No joke.
No, that's no joke.
I do character voices when I read these, just for the show, not when I read like all comics, but like.
Yeah.
I'm picturing you alone, like reading your comics out loud to yourself, sound
every
effects
single.
and all.
Yep.
I'm never alone because I have a black lab. So Callie is always there listening. So it's not like I'm a weirdo. I have a dog.
No, that makes it totally normal.
So Simon Stroud says, "Get back, both of you," and then we go forward a page here, and he says, "And pronto." And the foreground, I love this like Civil War, like Iron Man Cap, like facing off thing in the foreground of Kraven and the Man-Wolf just about to punch each other in the face as Simon is throwing a grenade. And then the next panel we get, it says glowering eyes widen in murky understanding as the Man-Wolf looks over Kraven's shoulder at Stroud holding a grenade. And it's like, oh shit, I know what that is.
I remember that.
that effed my ass up. Right?
Yeah.
So it says, and the malignant Man-Wolf batters his foe into the path of the gas grenade. So he does like a upswipe punch, throwing Kraven into the path of Stroud's grenade. And they meet at the same time. It says his darkling memory inflamed by an earlier experience. So he remembered when Kraven did the same thing to him. So he has learned something. He's like,
okay.
He's like those zombies in the latter day George Romero, like Land of the Dead, where it's like they learn how to use weapons and they kind of grunt and communicate, whatever. He's figured stuff out. And I love this panel here in the bottom left where he's just off. Like there's just plumes of smoke everywhere, like a old Romita Mysterio Spider-Man issue. And it says, then as the self-styled hunter succumbs to acrid fumes and Kraven's in the foreground, just like on his hands and knees, choking, the wary night beast lopes off. And we used to actually have a Drake, I think, back in maybe not in the old days when the werewolf just like ran off like like a Muppet.
Yeah, we would.
So it says leaving pre-dawn specters behind. Very colorful way to refer to these human people. And so
that
Jameson
stood out to me.
Yeah, that's really
right.
weird.
Pre-dawn
specters. So Jameson's holding Christine, says, okay, Stroud, what's the big idea of tailing us? And she just says, Papa Jonah. God. Hush, Christine. Women have no place speaking in the 70s.
Lord have mercy. The Papa Jonah makes a return here.
I love that he has the red eyes when he's looking over Kraven's shoulder and we see those baleful red eyes. I love that. I love the dynamism of him throwing Kraven into the path of the gas grenade and that those plumes of smoke. I like this page in general.
It's cool.
I love that Stroud's booking Kraven. Book him, Dano. Like he's putting handcuffs on Kraven. I don't know why that's so weird to me. Because I was thrown off by the Papa Jonah creepiness. Hush, Christine.
Yeah, but no.
Your dad had a cigar. Bite the end off.
No.
Yeah, so weird. Yeah, I know. For some reason, whenever supervillains are handcuffed, you're always just like, oh, that's weird. Now suddenly it's real.
It's not the Hangman. This is Kraven.
He's Kraven.
He's kicked Spider-Man's ass a few times. He's a real guy.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. That was a highlight of the Werewolf by Night run when the Hangman. Oh, how's this issue going to end? Oh, he's just going to get arrested and go to jail. Okay, it's all right. So we're on our final page.
Oh, before we move on, though, I do want to say that I really enjoyed that top right panel with the Man-Wolf's face with that yellow background and the red glowing eyes. That was my favorite. And the fact that Kraven got his karma. He got his gas his gas grenade. He got what he deserved. Although I am upset that we don't get leopard printed gas grenades. I'm still hung up on that.
Would it make you feel better if you knew that the handcuffs were leopard skinned?
Yeah. Fuzzy leopard handcuffs from Stroud's personal collection.
He's wearing a thong. That's the same material.
Yeah.
Stroud, I wouldn't put it past him.
No.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Jacob.
Michelle, before we move on, Michelle, are you a Morbius fan?
I wouldn't say a fan, but I do enjoy the character, and I have a few of his issues. Yeah.
Okay.
His Adventure into Fear run.
Okay. We just as you probably heard us allude to previously, Simon Stroud is either from there or picks up there or something, but he's around and he's in the Morbius film. So he obviously is a character that has legs in the Marvel universe.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I remember you guys mentioning that. Yeah. I didn't realize he would be in the film though. So
yeah,
that is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll watch the film.
We'll see it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in the film than I am the Craven the Hunter film that's been announced, but I'll probably watch that anyway.
No, I mean, we're definitely going to watch
Lord.
that. It's not going to be good, but I'll watch it.
Yeah. It's weird that they're doing standalone villain films without the character that they're all known for in them.
No.
Yeah.
I can't imagine seeing a son of a dying like Russian line of czars or whatever the hell he is, like that hunts big game, and making that a movie. But okay,
Yeah. Who knows?
could be great.
It shall be interesting. And it kind of makes me want to read the Craven storyline from Spider-Man, because I feel like I just should anyway.
Do you mean everything, or like the 80s one that's famous?
The Craven's
Last Hunt. Yeah.
You need to read that.
So good.
Yeah,
It would flip your wig.
I have not read it. I
You'd
haven't
love it.
read it.
You'll love it.
And now this is kind of like my introduction to Craven is this issue, which
It's not a
That's
bad
awesome.
one.
It's not terrible at all. It's a pretty good
Um,
introduction. But if this is it, your next stop should be Craven's
Craven's
Last Hunt.
Last Hunt. You have to read.
yeah.
He gets catapulted into the stratosphere of characters with that one.
Yeah. So that's a goal. I'll report back once
Please
I
do.
finish it.
Yes.
All right. Well, I guess I'll take us home with this last page. So, yeah, Stroud continues saying, he said, the idea, Jameson, was to find me a werewolf, and it seems to have worked. But Wyatt's out to waste you and your son, and where is he? His pad is demolished, and he's nowhere to be found. He ain't here, is he? And so this is Stroud's narration that's going on over these panels that are kind of showing what's happening. We see police cars arrive at Craven's mock safari reserve that he has here. And then the man-wolf is running. And then we see the middle row of panels as him transforming back into John. And Stroud's narration continues, the Johnny-come-latelys are searching the grounds for the man-wolf. And if John Jameson's here, we'll find him too, because he's in deep. And then he's finally in that last panel of the middle row. He's back to John Jameson with this great kind of shocked expression on his face. We see the moonstone glowing red. And then that bottom left panel, Stroud sees him and says, you're under arrest for a federal offense. And Jonah's like, my son. And Christine's running towards him saying, oh, Johnny. And I love John's line here. He says, Dad, remember when you used to say us Jamesons are born winners? What a laugh.
I love the angle of this panel.
Yeah, how
Like you're
cool
a
is
monkey
that?
up in a
Right?
tree looking down at this. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a really cool decision to do that. And then finally, the final panel, Jonah says, the charge, Stroud. What's the charge? And Stroud says, AWOL, which is, I don't know. I know it's meant to be this giant thing, but it's a little bit of a letdown for the last word of a pretty exciting issue.
And Jonah
And-
got a smoke somewhere. He's normally a cigar guy, but he's got a cigarette this last panel.
Yeah, I know. They've just been appearing. Like, I'm pretty sure he's dropped his cigar like 5 times in this issue. And then suddenly it's back, and then he's got a new one. He's got another one lit.
Yes.
And so at the bottom of this final panel, we get our teaser for next issue, which says solace in flight. It's a departure. We guarantee it. So yeah,
next
that's
issue when we transition to the spacey stuff. Or not quite.
I don't
think-
know. I haven't read ahead.
I'm not reading ahead. I'm really not. Like I'm trying I'll kind of like maybe check out the issue, just be like, oh, okay, but I don't read it. Matt was Matt had read all of the Werewolf by Night series in our previous season, and he would get angry with me if I would read ahead and try to like figure out what was going on. He wanted my reactions to be real and in the moment of our recording the episode. So yeah. I'm totally doing that this season. I am not reading ahead.
We both are.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. Just judging by the covers, though, I mean, we know they end up in space. So I cannot wait to see how this unfolds. And I did want to mention, I think I said earlier how I liked Well, I'll just tell you now. I like this transition from Man-Wolf back into John 10 times more than I liked the transition from John into Man-Wolf. I actually really enjoyed this. The fist and how it just, the colors in the background and then his face with the glowing stone. I thought it was fantastic.
Me too.
Yeah, I agree.
100%. So, Jacob, do you want the creature features?
Oh, I do.
Okay, so, or Michelle, do you want to read it?
Yeah, you should read it, Michelle.
I always read the letters.
Yeah.
The entire thing? You want me to read
It's only, it's a page and a half. It's just, there's a ton of ads.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna have to go back. So we have a creature features page. We don't have our regular letters this issue, but we have an article titled Of Man-Wolves and Men. It was on a sultry afternoon sometime in late June, about 2 weeks before YuliCon, that rascally Roy Thomas casually interrupted his conversation with Steve Englehart, who journeyed out from California expressly for the aforementioned comics convention to direct a few words to the fuzzy-haired, bushy-bearded assistant editor who hunched vacant-eyed over the current, inevitably late issue of a 25-cent book, ostensibly looking for errors, but actually daydreaming about motorcycling. Say, Dave, I've been promising you a first series to write, and I finally have one for you. Man-Wolf in Creatures on the Loose. And having thus offhandedly delivered the stunning news that succeeded in totally insulating the hairy North Dakotan from reality for the rest of the afternoon, Roy returned to his animated conversation with Stainless Steve as if it had never been interrupted. Shortly thereafter, Dave the Dude and George Pacesetter Perez met in the bullpen and immediately hit it off well together. So well, in fact, that it was arranged for George, who had intended only to do a single fill-in issue, to remain on the series, thus giving artist emeritus George Tuska more time for his much-needed work on the now monthly $1 Planet of the Apes. The smash issue of Man-Wolf you now hold in your hands renders entirely superfluous any further comment about the splendid teamwork of all concerned. Dave, George, Klaus, Petra, and Ors, heroes of all, but there are a few more subjects to cover. For instance, a funny thing happened on the way to the press when the letters page, which had been prepared some 3 weeks prior to the actual date it was due, sure, an unusual incident in itself, mysteriously turned up missing at the last possible minute and evaded the most diligent of searches. For a while, it looked as if this issue of the Man-Wolf would go out with 2 extra pages of ads, in addition to the early 60s reprint in the back. Fortunately, Jumbo John Verporten came to the rescue, allowing us to slip this in just under the wire, and that's why there are no letters on these 2 pages. A simple matter of deadlines, but rest assured, next issue, your comments will return. And while we're on the subject, be sure to let us know your feelings about Man-Wolf. We want your thoughts on how to make it the kind of book you want, because that's what it's all about. Of course, the Titanic team who produced this first of what they hope will be a long series of high-action collaborations are even now waiting impatiently for the collective pronouncement of Marveldom assembled on Deathgame. Don't cop out. Jesus Christ.
I know. This run-on sentence is the worst.
Now I see why you made me read this, Matt.
You're doing great, and you're almost done.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Okay. So next issue, you won't believe the fast-moving adventure as John Jameson discovers a most sinister secret project in Georgia, and the murderous Man-Wolf runs amok on 2 wheels. It's a whole new direction for the series, and we don't want to begin it without you, so be here. Dave and George guarantee it'll be worth your while, and if anyone ought to know. Finally, we have some big news. A very special announcement that excites us as much as it's sure to excite you. Beginning next issue, the Man-Wolf will be a full 18-page feature. All new and original, as only Magnificent Marvel can present it. no more short reprint stories in the back of the book. So now you have absolutely no slightest excuse to miss our next number. That's Creatures on the Loose 34. In 2 months, we'll be looking for you. David Anthony Kraft.
Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you for reading that.
Oh, that's great.
I can't believe you made me do that.
People get tired of hearing me read the letters.
Yeah, I like mixing it up.
So final thoughts. Michelle, let's start with you.
I'm glad I own this physical issue. I think this was pretty awesome. I think the writing, although like we said, it was very Doug Menchian. I enjoyed it, and I think it worked pretty well. I liked the artwork. There were some stellar panels, some great ones that I would clip out and paste on my wall, but there were some rushed moments as well, so it wasn't perfect. But yeah, I mean, if I had picked this up off the newsstand or off the shelf back in the mid 70s, I'd probably stick around for the next issue, especially after that letters page.
Yeah,
my.
So that's a pretty big deal, right? I mean, Jacob, like that they dropped reprints in the back, so that's an investment, right? I mean,
that's a big deal. So
that's if nothing else, right? I mean,
that's going to cost Marvel more money, and obviously, I mean, just on the covers alone of the Creatures on the Loose issues, they probably sold pretty good, and I think this is the best evidence that we have that it was selling well, that Marvel is actually going to spend more money on one of these lower tier titles. So I think they had high hopes for Man-Wolf.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of like
step.
Sorry, go ahead. No, you.
I was just going to add that does seem like a big step to drop the backup story reprint. So,
yeah, I would think that the monster wave was still kind of cresting at this point, and the fact that he's built into Spider-Man's array of rogues and stuff, it's kind of a pretty good bet, I would think, right? I think that's why they probably sales bolstered that with the fact that he's tied into J. Jonah Jameson and Spider-Man, and now Craven and he have beef. Like, let's spin this guy out and do a whole thing with him. But David Kraft had big plans for the Man-Wolf, which we're going to see very soon.
Yeah, he had really, really big plans.
Yeah. So what were your thoughts, Jacob?
I didn't realize how pleased I would be to be done with the Tusca Coletta art. There were high points to that pairing, but I was just so excited to see new blood on the title, and just the fact that we got to see Kraft and Perez, their first collaboration and their first work on a color comic title for Marvel. So I think it's not perfect. Like Michelle said, I agree. It's not perfect. There are pages that look rushed. There's some narration that might be a little florid, but I think that on the whole, it's a pretty awesome debut for Kraft and Perez. And I have a feeling they're going to get real good real quick.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. I'm mostly with you. We were frustrated with the Tusca Coletta pairing, the fact that there would be brilliant stuff and then really not brilliant stuff. And there's some not great stuff in this. I'm not going to lie. I love Perez, but there's some pretty dodgy, sketchy stuff in here as well from him and Klaus. And but just seeing that fresh blood in there, like you're saying, like just some of these interesting arrays and panels and layouts and stuff like that was exciting to me. So, and knowing where it's going to go, I've seen some of the art of the Star God stuff, so I know that Perez completely gets sick with this really soon. So I liked it. And Simon Stroud was back. So what are you going to say?
Gotta like it.
That is a highlight.
So
it's Kraft and Perez both stay on through the end of this series, right?
Yep.
Yes, and there was like 2 issues that were meant to happen that get published in Marvel Premiere that they both did too. So it's kind of the wrap of the story. for the most part.
Yeah, it's super cool that they
stuff.
both. Yeah, and I cannot wait for the space stuff. I cannot wait.
Awesome.
But I think it's fantastic that both of these guys kind of made their debut in this super kind of under the radar man-wolf comic and went on to become what they did. And it feels really special to have this piece of history and to have shared it with the two of you.
Thank you.
Totally agree.
So glad you were on the show.
Yeah.
Where can people find you if they are just people who don't follow us on social media and they want to check out what you do?
I would say first check Instagram because I'm always on Instagram. Instagram at Moonlit Comics. You can also find me on YouTube. I actually never thought I would do this, but I just created my own YouTube channel under the same name, Moonlit Comics, one word. I only have a couple of videos so far, but I do have plans for a bunch of fun stuff coming up. I'll be reviewing the Philadelphia Volume 1 through 3 trade paperbacks. I have a monthly comic book spotlight series I just debuted. And I'll be reviewing the Moon Knight show weekly as those episodes drop because I love the character. I'm so excited for that show. And yeah, we'll see where it takes me. But in the meantime, Instagram, I love to share, issues from my collection. I'll show you the inside of the books and share any fun facts I discover as I research things. And yeah, I'd love to connect with you guys. This community is absolutely fantastic. I never expected that when I entered the hobby, and it's been the icing on the cake for sure. I've met a lot of incredible people, including yourselves, and this has been a great journey so far. So thank you guys. This has been so much fun.
Oh, I'm so
you
glad.
Stayed off Twitter, I guess. So that's why.
Yeah.
The purity of the medium.
Smart, very smart.
Yeah. No Twitter for Moonlit Comics. No,
that's smart. And I'm sure you're going to blow up, and we'll be asking you if we can be on your show to help promote our own show. But if you ever need reprobates that talk about monster stuff, we're always available, right, Jake?
We are available. Yeah.
I'll have to do actually have like a monster mashup theme in mind for one of my comic book spotlight episodes, down the road. So I'll let you guys know, because who better to join me for one of those episodes?
We'd love to.
Thank you. Yes, I'd love to. So yeah, for the folks that listen to us that want to extend their experience like you have, Michelle, there's the Patreon page that we do, and we do a bonus episode every week. And we talk about a werewolf movie and maybe a comic reading or a record we're listening to or something like that. But you can check that stuff out. There's several tiers of support, and that's at patreon.com/werewolf by night podcast. And thank you, Michelle, for supporting us on there. We appreciate it so much. It's been so fun creating content to share with the people that love the show. So thank you. And this
I will say,
yes,
it is absolutely worth it. So people, like $5 a month, it's totally worth it. You get to see these guys on video. You get to see them live, chat about all the cool stuff. I've learned a lot from anything from obscure records to werewolf movies to comics you didn't know you needed to go hunt down and read. It's fantastic. So keep up the great work on Patreon, you two.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Also.
Yes.
Leave a review, a 5-star review, and you might be able to get some cool homemade buttons like I have, which I'll cherish for till the end of my days.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Did you post a pic of them and tag us?
Yeah,
I did. Well, I've had them for a while now.
It's been a while.
I will reshare.
Yeah,
I think you did. I was just kidding. It's been a while, but this is the part of the show where we do give shout outs to the highest tier folks that are our pack brothers and pack sisters, like you, Michelle. So that's Michael G, Tim Tucker, Brian from Marvel by the Month, Josh Link, Jeff Fitzpatrick, Caleb, Ben M, Michelle, you're here right now, Mark Nivens, Rob Haferman, Hammer of Thor 84, Russ from Tomes of Evil, Brad Elmore, Johnny Turner, and Jackson T. Overstreet. Thank you all for your support. We've got some cool stuff coming up as bonus stuff just for the highest tiers. Like I'm making a comp of old time radio shows that are werewolf specific. And this is not that horse shit where it's a werewolf hoax. Someone's dressing up like a werewolf or blah, blah. These are only old time radio shows where it's an actual honest to God werewolf attacking people. So mix coming your way for that. Also, my man Jacob is spinning some records here in Portland, and I think we're going to do a little video of him doing what he does best, DJ Balky.
Yeah, I'm very
snap,
making the music happen.
I'm very excited. Yeah, we, my wife and I, for years here, have done this this sale. It's a rummage sale called the Twilight Rummage Sale, where you can buy a set of Grimace glasses as well as find old records. It's just weird shit. It's like a true rummage sale, like not like a vintage sale where everything's overpriced. Like it's weird shit. And I've played records there for years. It's been out of commission because of COVID, but this is it's back. It's happening this Saturday here in Portland. And yeah, I'm very, very excited.
And I'll be there.
I wish I could be there. That seems absolutely fitting for you, Jacob.
It is.
It's very Jacob. Yeah, I will be there with a camera, and hopefully I'll get permission to film there and get a little bit of a kind of video montage for our Pack brothers and sisters to see Jacob in his natural environment.
It is my natural environment. I'm excited to do it. It's weird. I haven't played a set of records in over 2 years, so it'll be strange. I kind of remember.
The pointy thing goes on the round.
That's the thing. I'm not a cool DJ. I don't play dance music or shit. I play like old, weird, obscure 60s records.
But you still do the pelvic thrusts.
Yeah.
Like Harry Nilsson.
Yep, yes. I do. I love me some Harry Nilsson. I'll be playing some of him. I'll be playing other weird, obscure stuff like I do. So
I guess Nilsson isn't that obscure. I know you go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, but he's
too obscure.
He's still too obscure. Everyone should know about him, but he still is a little obscure.
Yeah, and that documentary about his life and career, like I mentioned before, is on YouTube, fully legit, fully free.
Well, it's on Prime.
Well, it's on YouTube too. They just it's everywhere now. They're just giving it away. So if you don't know much about Nilsson or whatever, or don't think you like him, watch this documentary. It will turn your head around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michelle, thank you so much for being here. It was an absolute pleasure to get to meet you finally and see your awesome studio space and kind of meet your boyfriend.
Yeah.
Yes, he without him I wouldn't know what to do with any of these cords and wires and lights and thank you guys for having me. This was an honor. It was awesome to get to meet the two of you. I kind of feel like I already knew you from listening so long, and like your guest from Stapled Spine said, like longtime listener, first time caller type of thing. Like I appreciate you two, and this was super fun. So thank you so much for having me on the show.
Thank you.
You bet.
And we've got links to all your stuff, your YouTube and your Instagram in the show notes of this show. So people check out what Michelle's doing. It's awesome. And thank you for sharing your story with us. That was so cool.
Anytime.
So on the bonus show for this week, we'll be talking about the Japanese film from 2003, Kibakichi, which is a Japanese yokai werewolf samurai film from 2004.
That is accurate.
My contribution will be talking about Jeff Smith of Bone and Rascals of fame, talking about Tukey, Fight for Fire, the first new graphic novel he's done in a while. And Jacob's going to talk about Cliff Edwards, a musical contribution that was news to me. So I'm excited to talk about that.
Awesome.
All right. So yeah, if you want to check out that bonus show stuff, that's patreon.com/werewolf-by-night podcast. Okay. So everybody, we'll see you soon. 2 months in publishing world, but 1 week in our world. Till we meet again, neath the full moon, furry ones, here's howling at you.